morning, Mitchell. Thank you for coming back.
Good morning, Mitch. Thank you for having me.
So please explain this indictment to us. It looks like Sam Bankman-Fried or his company gave $40 million to a Chinese official. These are being described by the government as bribes. But what do we know?
So what happened was there was a lot of SBF's companies, whether it was Alameda or it was FTX, had enormous cache of crypto in Chinese accounts, and the Chinese government would not release it. So they paid according to the indictment, they paid $40 million up front to a Chinese government official, unnamed, and more money after the crypto was released. And they used that additional crypto in order to continue the Ponzi scheme.
Well, okay. So again, this is not me saying no big deal here. I really am legitimately curious. Why is it a big deal if an American businessman is, or even one that's based in the Bahamas, as he was for a time, is paying off Chinese officials to get his money out?
So there's something called the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, which came out of the 1970s when American defense contractors were bribing foreign countries like Pakistan to buy their stuff. And people go to jail for this all the time. This is a real big boy felony in the federal system.
Big boy felony. Is it any more big boy than all the other things he's charged with?
Well, the other thing about it is it shows the most intimate ties to a foreign country of any defendant that I've ever seen who's not a foreign national. It looks like the judge is going to allow the more restrictive bail package without putting SBF into jail. But I think that there is every reason to believe if he messes up even a tiny bit, he will spend his pretrial time in jail. And if he's convicted on all of these charges, he's looking at a Madoff-like sentence, something well over 100 years.
Wow, 100 years. Now, some have said that this is just a strategy to get the government, to get him to plead, to give up, to not fight. And because this is such a big boy felony, as you put it, there is a lot more weight on Sam Bankman-Fried. Do you think that's a strategy? You spent time as a federal prosecutor, so I wonder if that's part of this.
I actually think that, ironically, this charge and the fact that he's very likely to spend the rest of his life in jail if convicted, and jail is a whole lot worse than his parents' basement, means that he's going to do everything that he can, I think is likely, in order to stay out of jail and delay the trial as much as he can. Because once he goes to trial, the odds are overwhelming that he will go to jail and only emerge when he's dead.
Wow. And this is also one of the issues that the government says is that he was able to unlock this amount of crypto, and that helped Alameda Research commit, again, what the government says is fraud for another year. So I wonder if the fact that not only was this a foreign corrupt practice, according to the government, but the fact that it allowed the fraud to continue, according to the government, might play into what they're trying to prosecute here.
Let's be really blunt. If he's convicted, the judge is going to have, I can't imagine a world where the judge has any sympathy for him. Sam Bankman-Fried is the epitome of overprivileged, entitled, crypto bro, you name it. I can't see a single sentencing factor in his favor. It's just really, really tough for him at this point, and deservedly so.
Well, I remember you saying not enough bad things can happen to Dan Snyder. It kind of sounds like that with Sam Bankman-Fried as far as what the government is trying to do to him. But let's talk about Dan Snyder now. He is apparently receiving multiple offers for the Washington Commanders that are around $6 billion. There's at least 3 bidders. There could be a fourth here. Jonathan Jones from CBS wrote, Dan Snyder will soon have $6 billion in his pocket and a $6 reputation. So what do you make of the sale here and what it looks like is going to happen, and also how that might impact the federal investigation into some of his business practices and what may or may not have been illegal?
So I think that the $6 reputation line is spot on. Dan Snyder bought this team for $800 million. From a financial standpoint, this will be one of the great trades in anybody's life.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation in your cable lineup. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-based, unbiased coverage.